Thuyvu ho, Thuyvu ho.
Thank you. We're off to see the wonderful Rita of Toastmasters and self-development and mastering her life. Great job, Rita. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Today, I'm going to evaluate her wonderful speech by dividing it into two parts. First, we have the gems. Then we have the germs. And for today, I'd like to turn it into an analogy of technicolor aspects versus the gray aspects. And why? Because gray can eventually turn into color. These are parts of her speech that she can improve on, and then you have the gems. So let's start with the gems. One thing that she did very well was to be able to tie in color as a theme across the whole entire speech. For example, she was able to first start off with a wonderful story of her drive down the 17 freeway with the beautiful colors and really engaged us in the color palette. Then she was able to use it as a transition statement. And that transition statement was so powerful. It was this transformation of one part of her life to another part of her life. The other thing that she did with color that was very visually stimulating was that she wore an outfit of a beautiful cardigan of color. If you notice, it all tied in beautifully and seamlessly together. So thank you for doing that. The second thing that I thought she did really well as a technicolor aspect of her speech was that she was able to wordsmith very well. She took elements of her speech and used awesome alliteration. For example, she used the words whoa to wow, and also victim to victor, and stumbling blocks into stepping stones. I thought that was very clever. And third, Rita, you were able to motivate us and to inspire us with a speech that turned your childhood tragedy into a triumph. So thank you for all that. Now, let's turn to another portion of a technicolor aspect. You were able to really engage the audience. You had flamboyance, passion, and conviction. And that consists of the gems or the technicolor aspects. Let's move on to the gray areas or the areas of improvement. Just a couple of things. One aspect to improve on, and this is very small, just an ability to be able to use a little bit more of vocal variety. Perhaps when you're using the example of your son and you're talking in his voice, perhaps just to use maybe his tiny voice with a high-pitched sound, or to be able to invoke some of that emotion and create a more animated type of speech. And then second, just a very small, minute detail, which is a grammatical aspect, is to say, instead of the, I think it was the phrase of Jeremy saying, he'd be doing this. So rather than saying he'd be, just start into the he was doing this. Other than that, it was an overall very motivational and moving speech. And if I could, I'd give you ruby red slippers. So thank you, Rita.
One minute on the clock. Please prepare the next contestant.